Thank you, Gintara. Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me for this first TransformERS Café. It's really a pleasure to have the opportunity to meet with you all. And yes, I'm academic and I'm a landscape architect. And today I would like to share my thoughts on some issues on initiating a more than human transformation in planning education, because I'm involved as academic in spatial planning education. And today I would like to talk about more than human transformations. So just at the beginning, I would like to make a brief introduction to planning issues, because we are very multidisciplinary here. And the situation is nowadays in planning looks that despite decades of sustainability efforts, urban planning often leads to environmental degradation, like biodiversity loss and overuse of natural resources. And still in contemporary planning education, especially urban planning education, we predominantly prepare our students to address human-centric challenges such as housing, transportation, economic development, and public health. And the curriculum of spatial planning typically includes courses on zoning laws, urban structure and design, infrastructure planning, community engagement issues. Environmental issues, when included, are usually treated as separate specialized topics, such as ecosystem services, for example, and they are treated rather as an integral components. They are not treated rather as an integral components of supporting life in cities. And today I would like to talk about some new experiences we explored in two more than human planning courses, planning studios. And the story begins like 2 years ago during one conference in Łódź, a conference organized by the Association of European Schools of Planning. I met some Finnish friends, some Finnish colleagues from Aalto University in Finland, and they were presenting. They had a presentation on planetary well-being on a book they just finished to write, and I just started to talk with them after the session, and I was very interested in those topics, and I just said that I had the impression that something that we teach our future planners, our students, future spatial planners, that something is missing in this education for me, and that time, like 2 years ago, together with my colleagues from my department, from Warsaw University of Technology, we just started to think how to change it, and we wanted to question the anthropocentric assumptions in planning education and advocate for integrating non-human perspectives. And the friends from Finland, they said, wow, we do the same. Let's talk about it. So we started to the contact, and we started to share our experiences. And we decided to explore our experiences of two more than human planning studios. And in our research, we wanted to initiate a discussion on more than human planning education, and we address the experiences by asking First of all, what is the current status of more than human approaches in planning education, which sets the scene for these two planning studios? And our second question was, how do the piloted educational approaches support modern human skills of planners in the face of sustainability transformations? And well, in our analysis initiates a discussion on the need for a paradigm shift in planning education to embrace modern human perspectives. We think that learning and education play an essential role in such sustainability transformations, and in the face of the new responsibilities, awareness rising, that this is not enough anymore, and more planetary aligned responses from the planning community are just needed. I would like to maybe introduce the concept of modern human. This concept has been discussed since 1996, when David Abram published his book on the spell of the sensuous that underlined the significance of relating with ecological processes. And then in this book, he underlines that humans are deeply interconnected with and dependent on the well-being of the life-protecting systems around them. And this modern human understanding draws from various theoretical frameworks, including post-humanism, nature-inclusive design, and multi-species ethnography, for example, which all critique the anthropocentric bias in traditional planning practices and advocate for more holistic approaches. And multi-species ethnography, for example, examines the relationships between humans and other species, reducing the central role of humans as the only focus of planning. So all modern human approaches extend these perspectives towards the view that the value of life on planet or on Earth is greater than the life of just one species. And as such, this modern human perspective gives intrinsic value to all living and non-living systems and processes, such as rivers, mountains, and other species. The current planning thought is focused on treating land as the resource for human societies, and has diminished the intrinsic value and agency of non-human species, habitats, or whole ecosystems. And in our courses, we tried to embrace the intrinsic value and agency of all actors. And we tried to think about modern human planning process, that this process could evolve through 3 stages, like recognition, inclusion, and co-flourishing. And I will briefly present what all those 3 stages are about. So the first stage, recognition, in modern human planning, is the recognition of the diversity of human and non-human actors. Because in current planning, biodiversity and non-human nature overall are merely treated as passive recipients of human actions, or as service providers for humans. Completely reducing human dominance in future-oriented planning is challenging, and it's not even necessary, we think, but in modern human approaches to planning, we should identify the presence, rights, and ethics of non-humans in the city or in other places. The second stage, so after recognition, it could be inclusion. And this stage of planning process should be about embrace the presence, rights, and ethics of non-human nature in the city. And we think that several thoughts on non-human inclusion in planning have been presented, but as an established theoretical basis on non-human co-planning is still missing. We thought about it, how it could be the most common ways of including non-humans in planning and design process. And we go through some literature, and there are some propositions, like 3 ways of including non-humans. First, that non-humans can be involved as active participants to test various solutions. Second way is that they can be represented by humans. And the third, that they can be included through profiling, as that has been carefully prepared with experts. And none of these approaches comes without challenges of human interpretation and assumptions, but they are still the first steps for wider transformation towards modern human planning. And after those 2 first steps, recognition and inclusion, we could think about co-flourishing. Co-flourishing of actors in urban space. It also causes some challenges, because all actors cannot flourish simultaneously in all places, as the needs of different actors may require contradictory solutions to be met. And this is a challenge for future planners. So we just launched those courses, and we still have new experiences. We wrote together a paper, scientific paper, on our experiences, which is under reviews right now. And well, what are our findings? So our findings suggest that sustainability and resilience are often addressed in current urban planning education, but from a predominantly human-centric perspective and on a rather abstract level. So such perspectives often include, for example, a focus on reducing resident carbon footprints, improving energy efficiency, and enhancing human quality of life. And on the stage of co-flourishing requests, we should think about taking an active role in identifying, negotiating, and prioritizing the possibly conflicting needs and impacts of all kinds of actors that create the urban space. And that the first thing to change is the mindset, as the mindset of our students, of future planners, as bringing just incremental additional tools to the traditional logic. It is not enough, we think. And our studios were aligned towards supporting metacognitive skills and competencies rather than individual planning tools or methods. So we think that such competencies as curiosity, to encourage flexibility and adaptability in changing situations is needed to develop among the future planners, so among other students. Other competencies could be imagination, to encourage out-of-the-box thinking, and of course empathy, to encourage holistic thinking and supporting of life in its diverse forms. Yeah, so I think that because I know that I have 10 minutes, and I think it just has